Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 4 of our low back and hip series, week 4 out of 6. So we'll be doing some of the same stuff, some new and different things, and hopefully, again, we'll end with the Nidra. I'm going to have you guys, um, you can either start seated or laying on your back, whichever. Actually, no, I take it back. Sorry, we're going to start seated. Because we're going to do our homework. Now, those of you that are brand new, you're like, wait, what? There's homework? I didn't sign up for that. Um, but I'll just explain it really quickly. Um, there's a in yoga, we have these things called bandhas, and they're known as locks. So we have a foot lock, which is a pada bandha. We have a root lock, which is mula bandha. We have a hand lock, which is asta bandha. I almost forgot that one. So we're working in this course, this series, on our Muladhara, or the Muladhara is the root chakra, or Mula Bandha is that root lock. Now you don't have to remember all those terms, obviously, but I just like for you to know what we're actually doing. So if you know what we're talking about, you can just be doing it right here, right now. And I'm just going to review for those of you that don't. Basically, I want you to pull up on your pelvic floor. So visualize yourself doing a Kegel exercise. If you don't know what a Kegel exercise is, it is that feeling frankly, when you're peeing and you stop and you start and you stop and you start. It's actually a great way to practice that. But however, that is just a small piece of it, okay? The pelvic floor is actually a bowl and there's musculature all in here. So when you do that Kegel, you're just kind of pulling up tight here, but I want you to visualize pulling up the entire pelvic floor. So you're going to do that, you're going to pull it up and you're going to hold it. And while you're holding it there, you're going to pulse your belly button to your spine 5 times. So you're going to pulse, release, pulse, release, pulse, release, pulse, release, pulse, and release. That's 5, or that's 1. So 5 times equals 1. Our goal is to get up to 50 a day within the next few days, because after a few days of doing it 50 times a day, I generally notice a significant increase in strength in my low back. Like if I'm feeling a little wonky in my low back, I will realize, oh, I haven't been doing that, so I'm going to do it. Okay. So the Mula Bandha is just the pulling up on the pelvic floor. The pulling up on the pelvic floor and then the belly button to the spine and the pulsing, or really just pulling the belly button to the spine, is called Uddiyana Bandha. And then when we add the breath, it's something else. So if you're so inclined, we can add the breath this evening. Uh-oh, sorry. We can add the breath this evening. So you're going to pull up on the pelvic floor as you inhale. Okay. And I'll just tell you first, and then we'll do it together. So we're going to pull up on the pelvic floor as we inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to pulse and we're going to go, I'm going to exaggerate it, but I'm going to go, I think that was 5 times. Okay. I was exaggerating it. And actually, that noise coming out of my mouth, I want that coming out of my nose. Okay. But I was trying to talk at the same time. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do it for you now. Maybe you'll hear me, maybe not. I do have a mic on. And you can follow along or we'll do it again after. Okay. So here we go. Inhale. That was 5, I think. Let's do it again. Inhale, pull up on the pelvic floor and pulse for. That was 5. Okay. So you're going to practice that on your own outside of this. That's your homework. Okay. All right. Now let's come down onto our backs and find a comfortable position laying on your spine. And I like my feet wider and my knees knocked in together, just to allow a little softening actually in the pelvic floor, and specifically the psoas muscle, which is a deep hip flexor, which we've talked about the last few weeks. And so if you have the recordings and you haven't watched them, do that because you'll learn a little bit more about that. But we're just going to arrive in the spot that we're in right now. Arms can be wherever you want, long, face up or face down, or maybe you place them with kindness on your body. And we'll just begin to arrive, letting go of everything else that has happened today, this week, leaving it outside of the room or the space that you're in this evening. Allowing yourself this time for yourself, for both physical and mental growth. And as you're just allowing yourself to come into the present moment, we'll begin to deepen our breath. We'll inhale into the belly, bring the breath up into the low ribs and all the way up into the chest. And then as you exhale, we'll let the chest deflate, the low ribs come in, and the belly empties. We'll inhale that way for 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale for 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to let you continue on that path or on that breath pattern or a different one if you like for just a few moments here. Let's do 3 more nice, deep and even breaths. The end of your next exhale, you can bring your feet slightly closer towards each other and then just hug your knees in towards your chest. Hands are on top of your knees and gently roll side to side. Giving yourself a little low back sacral massage. It doesn't have to be super fast. In fact, better if not. Really trying to slow things down here. And then let's bring it back through center and open the knees out wide and circle them away from you and then back in. And 2 more like that. And then we'll switch directions. So knees open wide, pull them in towards armpits, back together. 2 more like that. And we're going to actually find ourselves in a tabletop position. So you can either roll to one side or the other. If you feel like you have a healthy spine, you can rock and roll on that spine, come all the way up to a tabletop position. So in tabletop, our fingers are spread nice and widely. Thumbs come in about 2/3 of the way. Wrists, elbows, shoulders are one nice line. And knees are under hips. We're going to tone the belly just slightly, belly button towards the spine. And then as we inhale, we're going to drop the belly, Lift the hips, lift the gaze for cow pose. And then as you exhale, press the earth away, curl the upper spine, gaze towards your feet, belly up and in for cat. Inhale, nice and long and slow, all the way back through to cow. Exhale, press the earth away, puff up that upper spine for cat. Couple more here. We're just warming up the spine. And I'm just going to give you some other options to keep it a little interesting. And if you have something that you prefer, you can do that. But I like to do barrel rolls. I don't know if you can see me. So I'm going, no. Barrel rolls, I'm coming up into cat, over to the right, and then dropping my belly as if I'm cow, and then cat back up. So just, rolling the torso from side to side, and then, switch directions. Always switching directions. That's kind of another nice one, warming up the spine. And then as you come through center, one of my favorite ones is we'll inhale for cow, exhale for cat, drop the hips towards the heels. So you're sort of in a modified child's pose here. Arms are nice and strong. I'm going to drop my forearms to the earth, peel my chest through. I'm back in cow. Exhale for cat. Hips to heels into that child's pose. Peel through to cow. Let's just do one more. Ooh, I don't think I heard that. That was my knees popping. Yep. Who was saying they felt old? Yeah, here I am. All right, let's find a nice neutral position. Press the earth away. Reach the right leg long, toes are on the ground. We did this last week. We're just going to gas pedal that leg, warming up the calf and hamstring a little bit. We're not using the calves a ton tonight, but actually we might. I spoke too soon. So oftentimes when there's low back pain, there's actually calf tightness. They have the same nerve innervation. Let's bring it back through center. Lift the right leg up off the ground. Lift the left arm. So you're in an extended plank, one arm plank, or bird dog, we call this. We're going to press the earth away, tone the belly, and we're just holding here. Hold. For 3, for 2, for 1, stay high. Tap the right foot up or down, sorry, down and up. Tap and up. Tap and up. For 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale here, press the earth away, belly is toned. Find that tabletop. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Inhale, neutral tabletop. Left leg comes long this time. Gas pedal that foot, warming up that calf. And then we're going to lift that left leg up, parallel to the earth, nice and straight and strong. Press the earth away, tone that belly. Right arm comes long, palm faces in. Inhale here. Exhale here. We're going to hold for 3, for 2, for 1, and then we're going to tap. So left toe taps and lift. Tap, lift, tap, lift, tap, lift. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up. And tabletop. Last time, inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Inhale, find neutral spine. And then we're going to come to sitting on our heels. If you have your foam roller, find it. We're not going to spend too much time because I know a couple people don't have them this evening. But for those of us that do, we're just going to roll out our hips and back real quick. So we'll start with it at our bra line. We'll do the upper back just real quick to start. So feet are inner hip width apart. Roller is at the bra line. Elbows are wide to start. I'm going to lift my hips up. I'm going to tone that belly. And then I'm going to bring my elbows up high towards the sky. And I'm just going to roll back and forth so that I really feel in between. So I'm just going from bra strap up to base of neck. I'm not rolling on the neck at all, ever. If somebody ever tells you to, please don't. And you should feel that in between the shoulder blades. I know that this is not hips or low back, but it just feels so good. If you don't have a foam roller this evening and you have something that you can lay on, I'm going to suggest that. So I'm going to pretend, those of you guys that have a roller, keep going. If you don't, I'm going to pretend that this is a towel, okay? And I'm going to lay on it and open up my chest, and my arms are out wide. All right, so that's what you guys get to do, and lay there and breathe if that feels safe in your body. All right, the rest of us, we're going to bring the roller under the hips. We're going to lift our hips, place the roller under there. Feet are inner hip width apart. All right. We're going to tone the belly. All right. So I'm best go over this quickly for those of us that weren't here the last couple of weeks. So let's remove the roller. Before we lift our feet up off the ground when we're laying on our spine, we want to activate our core. So you're going to take your peace fingers to your hip bones, those bony protrusions on the top, okay? And you're going to, as your fingers drag off those bones, I want you to pretend that somebody is punching you in the stomach and you contract your belly. You know, you protect yourself, right? That's the transverse abdominis activating. So if you have your peace fingers on the bones and you do that and the fingers drop towards the midline, you should feel that muscle there, okay? Transverse abdominis, and then you're going to bring your belly button to your spine slightly. So you're going to do that before you lift your hips up and maybe then re-engage and then bring your legs up. So even when we're doing something like this, like self-massage, we still want to protect our low back and keep our core active. And in fact, I'm just dropping my knees side to side, if you can't see what's happening. And I'm just giving myself a little self-massage, again, on that sacrum and the glutes. It's glute medius really here. And then let's drop to the right side and maybe move around a little bit. And if you find a juicy spot, hang out there. I'm going to time us. And if you're doing this at home, you know, other than on the video, you want to try and hold this for about 20 seconds before you move about. And you can use your breath. Nice, deep, and even breaths here. And that was over 20. So now you can kind of move around. And if you feel a juicy spot, you can drop one leg if that feels better. The right leg seems like the right one to drop here. And then we'll bring it up through center and we'll drop the knees over to the left. Same thing, if you feel a juicy spot, hang out. Use your breath. When I say use your breath, I mean you can visualize your breath going into those, potentially sore spots. And then again, you can move about. You can drop that left leg if that feels better for you. And then we'll bring it up through center. You're going to reach your left leg long, flex the left foot, hug the right knee into your chest. You can take your left hand onto your left hip flexor. This would be called right in this area, right below that bony protrusion. And then you can pull that right knee out towards your right armpit. And if you flex both feet, you might feel something differently than if you were to point the feet. You can try that out for yourself, see how that feels. Nice big deep inhale and exhale. This is actually a stretch that this is one of my favorite stretches. This is for the psoas muscle. And you can actually do this laying on the edge of your couch or your bed. For me, like my left side gets stretched much more often because I do this off the side of my bed, but I never do it on the other side, which is terrible. Obviously, don't do that. But if you're on a couch, you could, switch the directions of your head, but you let the leg, the long leg, drop off the bed or the couch. If you want more, just gets it a little deeper. It feels really good. All right, bring that right knee through center. Left knee comes to meet it, and then we'll switch sides. So right leg comes long, flex that foot, hug left knee into the chest. Breathe it in here and exhale. Flex and point those feet, deciding which one you prefer. And then we'll bring that left knee towards the armpit. Again, if that feels good to you, you don't have to. You can just keep it in the center. And the right hand can give the right hip some kindness. Inhale here. And exhale. Let's bring that left knee through center. Bring the right knee in to meet it. Release the feet to the ground. Make sure this core is nice and active before we lift the hips and remove the roller. Now the roller is going to be optional for this next part. I'm actually going to switch directions for this. We're going to do a series of low ab exercises. So these are actually like Pilates based in nature, so you may be familiar. And I'll show you the options. So most of these, we're going to be keeping our shoulder blades off the ground. So to be fair, the roller actually helps us a little bit. I think on one or two of them, it kind of falls away. And so it's not that helpful. But these first ones you can use or not. So I'm going to show you both ways. All right. Our first one is called, it's a knee in single leg stretch. So the knee is in, I've got my right knee in and my left leg long. Okay. And then I'm just going to switch. And then I'm 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 going to switch. So my hands are going to be behind my head and the roller is on my shoulder blades. This is actually not really part of, this is just sort of a warm up, okay? allowing us to see where our legs are going to go. All right, so bring your feet down, engage that core, right? We punched you in the stomach. I'm not sure I love that thought process. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like, what we're going to do without the roller. So I'm going to tuck my chin into my chest. I'm going to lift my shoulder blades up off the ground. I've activated my core before I did that, okay? If at any point things don't feel good, you just come out, you reactivate, you come back in. Hands out at my temples or behind my head, shoulder blade is up. So I'm going to bring my right knee in, my left leg long, all right? I'm going to bring my left leg straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. Here we go. For 6, drop. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend the left knee. We can drop everything down. Take a breath. Re-engage. Tuck the chin to the chest. Shoulder blades come up. Tabletop legs. This time, left knee stays bent. Right leg comes long and drops and lifts. Drops and lifts. We've got 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend that knee, release the feet. So the next one is double leg stretch. So again, I'm going to show you with the roller. Shoulder blades are up. So I will say the roller, to be fair, makes it a little easier, okay? Which is fine because maybe we're not quite as strong as we want to be, or we're injured and we need some help. And so some of us are injured and that's why we're here, okay? Re-engage, hands behind, legs up, and I'm just going to drop and lift. And you don't have to drop all the way. You drop as far as you can go. If it's halfway, that's fine. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you know now, right? Lower abs. I'm guessing we're feeling it. I know I am. All right, our next one is, they call it just a straight leg stretch. I feel like it's called something else, but anyway, I'm going to take my roller out this time. I'm going to bring my feet onto the earth, re-engage my core. I'm going to bring my legs up to tabletop, and then I'm going to bring my feet up towards the sky. I'm going to tuck my chin to my chest, and my shoulder blades come up off the ground. My left leg drops to the earth as my hands come to my right. And then we switch, and then we switch, and then we switch, and then we switch. Left and right, left and right. We've got 4 and right, 3 and right. Keep going. 2 and right. Last one and right. Knees bend, release the shoulders, release the feet. Our last one that we're going to do, re-engage the core. This one's called crisscross. It's basically like a twisting bicycle. Hands behind, excuse me, at our temples or behind our head. Engage the core, tuck the chin to the chest, shoulder blades up, and shoulder blades can always stay down for these. And then we come up to a tabletop. I'm going to straighten my right leg. Right shoulder comes towards left knee. Bring it back through center. Left leg long, left shoulder towards right knee. And in. Here we go. We've got 8 and in. 7 and in. We've got 6. Ooh, and 5. I'm feeling it. Nice and slow. 4. That's why we feel it, because we're going slow. For 3. For 2. Don't forget to breathe. Don't hold your breath. For 1. Nice job. Drop the shoulders, drop the feet, lengthen out the legs, lengthen out the arms. Nice big stretch, like good morning type stretch. And then I'm just going to have you roll right over onto your bellies. We're going to come into Sphinx pose, which is actually a really great belly stretch and also a low back stretch. So arms are at a goal posts. Tops of the feet are on the ground, so my feet aren't flexed. Tops of the feet on the ground. Palms are flat. Elbows are underneath shoulders. I'm going to pretend to drag my hands back towards my elbows, towards my body. As I do that, I press pelvis into the earth and peel my chest through. So after doing all that abdominal work, you may very well feel this. I do. Inhale here. Tuck the chin to the chest slightly. And as you exhale, rotate the head over to the right. Inhale, bring it all the way over to the left. Exhale, drop it down to the right. So just little semicircles here, if this feels good on your neck. Couple more. And then when you're ready, you can come back through center. Head rises slightly. And then you're going to drop your head to the earth. Arms come out wide. Stack your hands and press your third eye on your hands. You can bend your knees and windshield wiper the feet side to side. So I will say this class is a little bit more active than maybe the last few. But again, we'll put it all together in our last class. Bring your feet back through center. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself up and come all the way back to a child's pose. So a real child's pose this time, meaning that the knees are wide and hips come back towards the heels. And if they don't reach, that's okay. If you have a pillow or blanket and you would like to bolster, you can. We're not going to be here for a really long time. Let's take 3 nice, deep and even inhales through the nose and open mouth exhales. Last one, inhale. And let's come back up to our tabletop position. If you have blocks, please put them at the top of your mat in front of your hands. If you have books that you would like to use in place of blocks, that would be great. If you have them, please use those. Everyone doing okay? Do I get a thumbs up? Awesome. I meant to mention that full moon tonight. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I was driving home and it was just starting to come up and it was amazing. So if you get a chance after this, you guys are going to be all zenned out, I hope. But once you wake up. Go look out the window. All right, we're in a tabletop position. We're going to press the earth away, activate the core, belly button to spine. I'm going to have you reach the right leg out long, lift it up, parallel with the earth. And I'm going to have you pull the right knee all the way through. We're bringing it into a low lunge. Okay, so we're just bringing it all the way through. If you need to help it along, that's fine. And you're going to find your blocks. And if you can, place them on the highest level. So we're just here in a low lunge, yeah? And to be fair, this should feel good, okay? If it doesn't, like I'm sinking in pretty deeply, you can come out if you like, but I am going for that deepness if it's available, okay? I didn't really mention tonight, but pain is never good. Slight intensity is fine, but pain is not. And typically how we know the difference is if we come out of a pose and that intensity has faded, then we're okay. But if there's still pain, it means we've gone too far and we don't want to keep doing that. It will, of course, eventually fade. Okay, so we're just here in this low lunge. Maybe we're feeling it in our hip flexors, kind of like we did when we were in that psoas stretch. So all this stuff is really important for low back and hip pain. I'm going to inhale here, and I'm going to exhale here. This time I'm going to inhale, and then I'm going to walk my blocks back towards my hips. My front toes are going to come high, and I'm going to actually shimmy my right foot slightly forward to allow my left hip to be over my knee. Okay, so I don't really want to be back here. I'm here. And my chest is nice and high. And again, you can shimmy that foot forward if you like. And if your toes don't want to come up towards the sky, of course, they don't have to. Inhale here. Exhale. Keep that left knee where it is. Just walk back into that low lunge. Beautiful. Inhale here. Exhale, walk it back up. This is called half splits, Ardha Hanuman. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale here. Exhale, half splits. Last time, low lunge. Okay. We're going to come into pigeon pose, or if that's not available, we have options. So I'm going to show you the options first. So the first option is I'm going to move my blocks. I'm going to shimmy my right foot over towards the left and maybe a little bit closer to me. Hands are going to plant forward. I'm going to drop the right knee, drop the right hip. Okay? I'm going to use my blocks to find myself nice and centered here. If that right hip is like, nope, not happening, a blanket, a bolster, a pillow under that can be fabulous. If that's still not great on your body, you're going to bend the back knee. This is called deer. It's really the same thing, okay? Either way, we're going to lean forward towards the ground. You can rest your head on a pillow or a bolster. So this should feel amazing, okay? If it does not feel amazing, we find it. If we have knee problems or issues, or neither of these feel good, we come onto our backs and we do a figure four. The same stretch as pigeon, okay? This one I'm going to time as well. And I will tell you that we typically want to hold this one for a minimum of 2 minutes. I'm a fan of 5 or longer. This evening we'll probably do a couple. So make sure it's nice and comfy, remembering my mantra of no pain. But if you're feeling it, in your hips or in your glutes, nice deep inhales. And as you exhale, visualize your breath going to that area. Visualize it creating space and length and softness, all the things. Let's take 3 more nice, deep, and even breaths here. Going to gently rise back onto your hands. Move any props you may have in the way. We'll plant our hands, curl your back toes under, and just pull this right leg back. Shake it out. If that feels good, find that tabletop position. We'll switch sides. We still have our lunges to do. So left leg comes long. Lift the left leg up high. Pull it all the way through to that low lunge. Find your blocks and settle in. So I have my back toes curled because that feels better on my knee. Some people prefer the foot flat on the ground. You figure out what feels good to you. And if you want the blocks lower, or you can come all the way down onto the ground, you can. But we have our knee in between our hands here. A different stretch is the hands inside of the left foot, which you could also do. But since we're moving back and forth, I'd prefer to keep the knee in line for these purposes. Let's inhale here. Exhale, walk it back to that half split. Toes come up towards the sky. You can shimmy that left foot forward. Right hip is over right knee. And you may need to pull your left hip back slightly. We tend to, I'm exaggerating this, but we could be turning this way. We just want hips facing forward, chest is high. Inhale here. Exhale back through to low lunge. Inhale here. Exhale, half splits, Ardha Hanuman. Last time, inhale, low lunge. Well, it's not the last time for low lunge, but it's the last time as we exhale, bring it back to the half splits. And this is the last time for the low lunge. So we'll do pigeon again on this side, and just know that one side might feel much, much different than the other. All right, so we'll remove our blocks. We'll shimmy that left foot over towards the left and perhaps towards you. Plant the hands. Let the left hip come down towards the ground-ish. Again, blanket, pillow. If you want to use your blocks to sort of just find your center, and then you can lower in. I would love the head supported by something here. And remembering that if that doesn't work, we can just bend the back knee, or we can come into figure four. And maybe we can do pigeon on the right, but not on the left, so we could do pigeon on one side, figure four on the other. And again, back foot can be flexed or toes flexed or flat on the ground, whichever you prefer. Nice, long, slow, deep, and even breaths here. Couple more slow, deep, and even breaths. This time we're going to come up to our hands, and we're all going to just bend the back leg, and then bring that right knee over and in front of us. And then we will ever so carefully, but maybe we just do a little extra core. Engage that core, roll the shoulders down the spine, come all the way back onto the ground. Hug your knees into your chest. Gently rock side to side. Do those hip circles again, like we did at the beginning. 3 in one direction, and then 3 in the other. Bring your knees out towards your armpits. We're going to come into happy baby. So knees are in towards the armpits, soles of the feet come up towards the sky. You can grab the backs of the thighs, the calves, or the outside edges of the feet. If you have the feet, you're going to roll your shoulders down your spine, press feet into hands, hands into the feet, plugging the hip sockets in. Gently, ever so gently, reach your tailbone slightly away from you. So it's not far away, because it's, in this position, you can't do that. But we just don't want to be curled up, hips off the ground. Hips are on the ground. Inhale here, wherever you are, and exhale. The end of your next exhale, allow the soles of the feet to come together, the knees stay wide, and then you're going to drop the feet all the way down to the ground. Hands can come to your belly, or maybe one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. If this does not feel comfortable, blocks or pillows under the outer thighs can feel very supportive here. Gently bring your hands to the outside of your thighs and guide your knees in together. And I'm going to invite you now to find that uber comfortable Shavasana type position for our Yoga Nidra. And what that looks like, you will be laying on your back if that's comfortable. You're potentially either on the floor, or if you could do this in your bed if you wanted to, or a couch. You do want something, if you're on a hard floor, something gentle under the head, because when we're laying in this position for a while, all of a sudden it can become the hardest object in the world. A blanket, a sweatshirt, a bolster or pillow under the knees, socks if you have them. And just take a moment or two here to get situated. And just as a reminder, I'm going to leave you in this position for you to do whatever you would like. And so you're finding that most comfortable position, and you're getting rid of any wiggles or bumps or lumps that you think might bother you down the road. And that's okay if they do. You can, of course, move, but if we can make it so comfortable that we don't have to, that would be ideal. I am reading a script, just so you know. And this is a different book than I normally read from, and I liked this introduction. Yoga Nidra is a form of Tantra. It is not sleeping. It is not concentration. It is opening the inner chambers of your mind. In Yoga Nidra, you step down into the internal dimension of your consciousness. Even if you do not understand anything in Yoga Nidra, it does not matter. The sound of my voice acts as a rope. Just as you take a rope and go in and out of the depths of the cave, so with the help of sound, you will venture in and out of the mind. Your eyes are closed and the body is still. The mind is in a mood to relax. You are not trying to concentrate. Make no effort to control your mind. You are practicing Yoga Nidra. Become aware of your whole body. You are lying in a beautiful room with other people on the same mental level. Almost everybody is emitting the same frequency of vibration. The whole atmosphere is charged with one type of powerful vibration. In this atmosphere, you are lying on your mat. Your body is still. The sound of your breath is rhythmic and slow. Your body is in a state of relaxation. At this point, a sankalpa has to be made. And a sankalpa is a resolution. You don't have to make it now, but if you have one, please repeat it to yourself. If you can think of one, now is the time. It can be something like, I am energy, I am love, I am light. I am peace. Anything. The greatest of all sankalpas is the resolve to awaken Kundalini, who dwells in Muladhara chakra. We talked about that at the very beginning. If you already have a sankalpa, please repeat it. But if you do need one, you can use this. I'm awakening Kundalini, who dwells in Muladhara chakra and makes its headway up to Sahasrara. Or you could just say, I am awakening my Kundalini. Keep listening to me and doing the practice I indicate. No need to concentrate, no need to analyze anything. Become aware of your right hand thumb and mentally say to yourself, right hand thumb, no movement. Second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, waist, hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, heel, top of the foot, sole of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Now go to the left side. Become aware of the left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, waist, hip, thigh, knee, calf muscle, ankle, heel, top of the foot, sole of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Next, go to the back of your body, back of the head, back of the neck, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, right buttock, left buttock, right heel, left heel. Now to the front of the body, top of the head, forehead, right temple, left temple, right ear, left ear, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, middle of the eyebrows, right eye, left eye, right nostril, left nostril, whole nose, right cheek, left cheek, upper lip, lower lip, both lips together, chin, neck, right collarbone, left collarbone, right side of the chest, left side of the chest, middle of the chest, navel, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, right leg, left leg, right arm, left arm, the whole of the body, the whole body, the whole body. Imagine in your mind that the body is becoming very heavy. Awaken the idea of heaviness in the body. Gradually feel that the body is becoming heavier and heavier. The head is becoming heavy. The right palm is heavy. The left palm is heavy. Both arms and the shoulders are heavy. The back is heavy. The hips are heavy. The right thigh is heavy. The left thigh is heavy. Both kneecaps are heavy. Both legs are heavy. Both arms are heavy. The whole head is heavy. The eyes are heavy. The lips are heavy. The whole body is heavy. Keep on thinking that the whole body is heavy. Intensify the feeling of heaviness. Then gradually relax part by part. You now feel the whole body becoming lighter and lighter. The head is light, so light that it might rise from the floor. The right and left palms are becoming lighter. Both arms and both shoulders are light. The back is light. The buttocks and groin are light. The right thigh is light. The left thigh is light. The right heel and the left heel are light. The whole body is light and weightless. When your body becomes weightless, you feel as if it is rising from the floor, as if your whole body is a mass of cotton. Cotton represents lightness, and steel represents heaviness. Now practice these two experiences alternatively. The whole body is steel. The whole body is steel. There are no bones. marrow or blood, just a steel frame. Now change that idea. The whole body is cotton. The whole body is as light as cotton. There are no bones, marrow, or blood. Everything is composed of cotton. The whole body is as light as cotton. Again, change the idea. The whole body is like steel, heavy steel. The whole body is as heavy as steel. Now change the idea again. The whole body is as light as cotton. Feel as if the body was composed of cotton, so light it can rise up from the floor. Bring your mind to the eyebrow center. Do not leave that point until I tell you. I will enumerate a few objects, and as I name each one, try to visualize it very quickly. If you cannot, don't worry. Just keep on following my instructions. Sometimes I will go very slowly and sometimes fast. I will also come back to the image a number of times. Some of the images may be known to you, but do not think too much. The image should shine by itself. Bring your awareness to the eyebrow center. Darkness, pink rose, waves on the ocean, blue sky in the evening, dark night, tiny shining stars studded in the heavens, high mountain range with snow-capped peaks, a ship sailing on the high seas, a white sandy beach, a forest with tall and dense trees, a dove, a galloping horse, a small hut in the woods, a burning fire in the bush, a stormy night, a full moon, a mountain stream, a lonely rock in the mountains, big garden of blooming flowers, rising sun. Keep your awareness at your eyebrow center, your third eye. Visualize a large lake with lotus flowers, a sailing boat, people swimming, a lonely wooden hut in the mountains, a desolate valley, a high mountain with snow-capped peaks, a quiet evening, beautiful sunset, chirping birds, tiger in the forest, elephant, cobra, symbol of Om, sound of a bell ringing, waves on the ocean, ship at sail, full moon, calm and quiet evening in a moonlit valley, mountain stream, refreshing cold bath in the mountain stream, experience of exhilaration, become aware of your breath. Inhaling through the left nostril and exhaling through the right. Alternate nostril breathing. In left, right out. In right, out left. Continue on that path if it feels available. but come back to the middle of your eyebrows again. Visualize the rising sun, red like a tomato, clouds gathering in the sky, drizzling rain, fog all around, pink rose, sunflower, apple, lettuce leaf, hot water spring, tall pine deer, cluster of grapes, symbol of Om, lonely wooden hut in the valley, snow-capped peaks, mountain stream, cold bath, ship at sail on the sea, lotus on a lake, people swimming. To complete your practice, become aware of the whole body. Visualize your whole body and everything in your room. Say to yourself, I am practicing Yoga Nidra. And everyone else here is practicing Yoga Nidra. I am visualizing my body and everybody here. If you remember your Sankalpa, you may repeat it to yourself 3 times.